Hey guys, are you taking an AP exam soon and wondering what you can do last minute to try to cram in as much knowledge as possible so that you can maybe get a 5 or do your very best on the exam? If so, this video is for you. Before we get going though, I want to remind everyone here to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already by clicking subscribe. And I want to encourage you to head to SupertutorTV.com to check out the best ACT prep course ever. It's over 50 hours of video tutoring with me for the ACT. I've prepped a student to a perfect 36. I've scored a 36 on the exam myself as an adult. And in it, I share all the secrets that I share with all of my students in a much more convenient fashion. So go check that out. We're also coming out with the best SAT prep course ever in the fall of 2018. So subscribe to our mailing list at SupertutorTV.com/subscribe to be updated on all the latest and greatest things we have coming out. Okay, so let's get started here. So here's a few caveats about this video. Number one, I'm going to be talking about all the AP exams in one video because I'm just going to be giving you guys general parameters on how the heck you could approach this whole prep process and a little bit of insight into what materials exist and how to get a hold of those and how to just do the best you can with a limited amount of time, maybe a couple of weeks if you're lucky, maybe a couple of days if you've procrastinated, and how to make the most of that. The other thing I'm going to say is some of you have amazing AP teachers, not all of you, but some of you. And those teachers might have told you all of this already, or those teachers might have given you all of these resources that I'm about to talk about already. And if so, you may not need this video and you might watch it and say, hey, I already am doing all that, or I already did all of that and my teacher already told me all of that. And if so, go thank your AP teacher. But for the rest of you, welcome. I'm going to try to help you guys out and give you a few tips on how to get that last cram in to do your best job on the exam that you are taking or exams. The first step that I recommend is that you gather materials. One of the best ways to study for any standardized test, and I know if you've watched my other videos, you probably know this, I recommend that you guys get real materials as much as possible. When it comes to the AP exam, however, you can't just go online and download 8 free official tests for every subject that you are taking an AP exam in. On the contrary, there are typically about 2 released exams for every AP test. The next resource in addition to practice tests is those official practice questions. There are sample questions from past exams that are available online, and if you do a Google search for those, you can find those pretty easily. Some of you might ask, well, why aren't you just telling me to go to apstudent.collegeboard.org and look up my particular AP exam? Well, the reason I'm not necessarily telling you to do that is that some of these pages, the links for the released exams don't work or are dead. And on some of the pages, it's really hard to navigate. Like you go to like the AP course name and then you're like, okay, where is the practice materials? Do you see what I'm saying? I just went to the calculus page. It's like, where are they? It's hard to find. So oftentimes Google's just a little bit faster. Then the other thing that you can do is if you have more than a couple of days, you might also want to get some books to augment your studies. I will give some book recommendations in our blog. You can also find some of my book recommendations at amazon.com/shop/SupertutorTV. After you've gathered your materials, it's time to get cracking. And to do that, what I want you to do is take a test and use it as a diagnostic tool. So what I mean by that is I want you to go and take that practice exam that you dug up, print it out, take it, use a bubble sheet, and practice the whole test front to back, and then grade it. And then I want you to try to figure out what did you get wrong and why did you get it wrong. I want you to go over every answer choice, learn from your mistakes, and then you're going to try to basically make a list of the things that you need to work on. To work on those things, that's when I want you guys to turn to your resources of your book at school, your notes from school, and any books that you may have purchased if you have more than a couple of days to practice. If you only have a couple of days, your school book's probably fine for now because you're probably better off studying than ordering things or driving to Barnes & Noble right now. So then what you can do is go over the things that you missed or go over the things that you're having trouble with. If you're studying for something like physics or calculus, look at the kinds of questions that you missed. Think about what chapter that question would have been in your book, and then go to that chapter. Try to redo some of the problems in the back of the chapter that you have answer choices to. Go back and retake your test or your quiz that your teacher gave you if you have access to it. And if it's more of an English test, well then observe why did you get it wrong, how can you get it wrong right the next time, and just try to do the best you can to learn from your mistakes, okay? Number 4 If you are doing a writing-based test, work on your writing and work on your essays. This is a step that sometimes is best done with a little bit of help or feedback from someone else. If you have a tutor or you have a friend, that can be helpful. Now, I know that not every exam has an essay. For example, calculus has open answer questions where you don't have multiple choice, but you're not writing an essay on the calculus exam. Still, a lot of these exams now have a good essay portion to them, and you need to be prepared for it. So how do you best prepare for that? Well, you want to look at examples of what other people have written, and you want to compare what you've written to that. In the past, the College Board had a bunch of essays online that didn't just have rubric here. Do you see how this is just rubric? It just tells you what you were supposed to do to get a good score. Back in the day, the College Board had a bunch of materials that actually showed you previous students' essays. And they have taken those down, but they are still on the internet somewhere. So if the College Board doesn't want us to see this, they could lock down these links and get rid of them. That's totally cool, but I'm just using a Google search and I'm showing you what I can look up. I can look up AP11_English_language_Q1, and that will give me real student responses to question 1 from 2011, from those questions that you can just download on their website. And that helps, to me, show what kind of essays this test is looking for. It helps you understand what does it take to get that score. So I think looking at real essays is always helpful. And it's also helpful in trying to figure out what kind of a score would you get, because you and your friend can trade papers. You can look at these essays as examples and you can try to judge, okay, I think I deserve this or she deserves that. Okay. Finally, if you have a teacher who's really open and awesome and willing to work with you, you might even go and show your teacher some of the practice essays that you've done and see if you can get a little bit of feedback on your writing and work on your writing, because I know that's a hard piece, sometimes harder than multiple choice. And finally, my step number 5 is to rinse and repeat and do more practice. And what do I mean by that? Well, I mean go back and work on more practice questions. That could be essay questions, that could be multiple choice questions, but you want to keep working and repeating this process. There have been studies that show that you learn best when you test yourself. And so I encourage you guys not just to study for the AP exam, but to test your way to the exam. Constantly be testing yourself, seeing if you have the knowledge and going over the wrong answers and learning from your mistakes. It's one of the best ways to learn and one of the best ways to cram for your AP exam, no matter the subject. And that's it. Good luck to you guys on your AP exams. I wish you the best. If you already knew all of this and your AP teacher is rockstar awesome, go thank your AP teacher today. And while you're at it, subscribe to our channel, follow us, like us, find us on social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. And I'll see you guys next time on SupertutorTV. Thanks for watching.